All right, welcome back. Last time in class we looked at lists and mapping. Mapping was something where we had a key and a value. The key was like the user password, or not password, but username, or in case maybe their character name in a game. And the value is whatever we assign to it. In this case, we were assigning people to it. And so you access the information. Person had a display function right there, so we could access it by looking at the player and doing a pointer, because each of these people are pointers, so we got to do a pointer version. And then we were able to go through the iterations by doing a map string person iterator with ITR map. That's what we called it. And since there's no like indexing on it, we don't say from 1 to 1, 2, 3 onward. We just say from beginning to end. And it'll go through the entire group in the map. And each one we got to it, we would see out information on. Okay, first gives the key information. That access is key. I guess I have that up above. And this accesses the value associated with the key. And we get rid of that. This was another way of doing it. So now they're on separate lines because the way I did it, but instead of doing it as a pointer, we can dereference it in parentheses and then access the components that way. So now we're gonna scale it up a little bit. Let's try something new. I had mentioned it in class, doing a list where we have a map that has a list as the value, and maybe putting some like loot items in there. Like this is the player's treasury. So I'm gonna comment out everything we had on the other stuff real quick. Actually, you know what? Just comment everything that way. If I want to go steal stuff from it later on, I have it there, but we'll just come up here and work directly after there. So I need an int main void. And we'll return 0. And the first thing we wanted to make was something that had like a loot structure. So we'll make a structure for loot. And it'll store the item name. So name. And maybe its value. We'll say it's an integer value like gold coins. And maybe we can have a constructor with it. And rather than doing the prototype and implementation separate, I'm just going to leave it all together for now. Name equals arg1. Value equals arg2. And let's just see if it works. Like a loot pointer, my loot equals new loot. And and we'll tell it it's just got a sword in there, and the sword is worth 25 gold pieces. Now we need a little way of maybe displaying the loot. So maybe add a display function. Value. Come down here and say my loot dot display. And theoretically, it says we've got a sword worth 25 gold pieces. Sword is worth 25 gold pieces. Okay, so we've got a loot class or loot structure. It's working. So we can make a list of loot. List loot pointers. We'll call it my treasure. And why don't we push back my loot? That adds one. Maybe we can add some more treasure to it using a new loot function. Maybe this is a magic ring, and it's worth a little bit more, maybe 250. Let's make it a magic sword. Ooh. And maybe push back another one. Every good adventurer has a bag of holding. And let's make a list loot iterator. And so we can go for, let's see, ITRL equals my treasure dot begin, my treasure dot end. I'm missing something there. There we go. Did I spell it wrong? Why meant to have a. I don't think that's true. Something's off there.
It has to be is different, isn't it? It doesn't have to be equal.
Oh, less than. You're right, not equal. There you go. Good call. Let's see. We were gonna do ITRL dot, need to dereference it. That should do it. Okay. Don't need to display that line. All right, so now we got the list. Now we need to build a map. So let me put the list loop iterator up there with that. And we want to make a map. So the string, we'll use a string for the player name, and the item will be list loop pointers. And we'll call it player. I'm missing another bracket. There you go. And we'll make an iterator for it now too. And we will call this ITR loop. Be a little bit more verbose. And I need to say iterator here first. There we go. All right, so we got those set up. And I don't need that twice. All right, so let's start building the map. Player, use brackets like we're indexing for an array, but instead of using numbers, we can use our username. So player Hefe, shit, we already got treasure there. We'll just say it's my treasure. And let's make another one with the exact same treasure. And oh, we got 4 people now. Who else is here? Veronica. Okay, so I can do for ITR map equals player.begin. ITR map does not equal player.end. ITR map plus plus. And maybe we'll start off with saying something like see out. We'll dereference ITR map. Say first, that'll access the first. And we can see it out because it's a string. So we're going to see out a string. It has the following loot. And maybe we'll come in here and I'll add a little bit, we'll add some space so that each thing like looks like it's tab indented. Throw an extra end line or two in there between players. Let's see, we're doing some a little bit. Okay, so we're not doing ITR loot now though. This is ITR map. Oop. Okay, so ITR map. We're dereferencing ITR map. Okay, so this takes some gymnastics here. I'm gonna hit enter and move that down below. We want to dereference ITR map. And do second, which takes us to the value, which is the list. You should be able to do just, nope, didn't do display. Why does, oh, I don't want to do display yet. Okay. Second dot begin. There we go. Got to do the beginning of the loot list. Then we'll say while ITR map dot second. I think I need my ITR loot list back. There we go. Not equal second dot end ITR loot plus plus. Okay. So we got the ITR dot second is basically the my treasure. It's the value. I needed to dereference this. Not there. Back here. And I think that'll do it. Move this up above. This was for ITR loot. Before I started messing with it. Okay, so this line iterates through the players. This one says who each player is. I'm going to comment out this for loop and make sure that just works as intended right now. All right, it does. So now let's uncomment that. And notice we've got two iterators. One is iterating through the map, and one is iterating or through the keys in the map. And one is iterating through the list that's the value in the map. So we have to have two different iterators. I think this is going to work. Nope. (61.2) error. Do I not have enough brackets here? Where is that bracket going to? Nope, that was the right bracket. That's extra.
The second for loop doesn't have an beginning bracket.
Oh,
Bye.
all right. So we got a beginning, ending. I wanted to move this inside here. After that one. Look at that. Now we each got the same shit. Now we know that the hard part's done. We got the map and the list set up. So now we just need to personalize it. So rather than Kenny having each of these items, now we got to go and try doing other shit here. So let's comment out those. So we'll try our own list for him. Kenny, what do you want as magic items? Got any preference? A bow of the void. I like that. That sounds pretty pricey. Let's throw it at 2,500. And can't have a bow without a good set of arrows. So maybe the quiver of fate. Or quiver of fuck it, fate. I think you need a little bit more if you're gonna have that. You're gonna have a bow. Let's give you a nice cape. Book of Elvenkind. That's a D&D item. Allows you to move quietly through the forest and shit like that. All right. This is a kind of gear are you interested in?
An invisible cloak.
Visible cloak. I like it. Let's do that.
And the magic scepter.
And a mighty scepter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Visibility. That's probably even more expensive than that bow. Oop. All right, Veronica, what do you have? What's your objects of choice? I need some new names for my shit. My names suck. You can have a cool staff. Staff of Wonder. Sounds good. Sounds like it shoots magic spells. If you're gonna be a let's see. Robe of the Archmagi. Staff of the Wizard. That's that bomb staff in D&D. Staff of Wizardry? Is that what it's called? Something like that. God damn it. Too many. It automatically fills in. I need to quit trying to add that. All right, now I need a new name for my shit. You already got invisibility. Let's go with teleportation. These need to be a little bit more valuable now. Oop. All right, we got a bunch of items each. And a pet dragon. What is the pet dragon's name? Zeus. I like it. Oh, he's the most valuable thing of all. You got a pet dragon. Just fucking downright cheating. All right, didn't need that anymore because we already made sure it worked. Look at that. Veronica's the only one that got a capital first name. That's me fucking up. So it's kind of interesting. I wonder what it's sorting by. Or is it sorting? I don't know that it sorts. We could have it sort your loot though. I wonder where it's because it's got RZ and then S. I wonder what it's sorted by on the loot. I thought it was sorted by the first. It's not sorting by value. It's not sorting by name. I got a B bag. Yeah, those I have no idea how it's sorting. So maybe we should tell it how we want it to sort. So we'll come up with a compare. Compare loot. And I want to do it. How did we have it down here? Just person pointers. So here I could just do loot pointers. We could do compare loot by name. So if we do that, we got to have if dereference arg1 let me do the sort earlier. Oh, wait, we had get age. Okay. We don't want to do get age. All right, back up here. Name. That's hard too. Need another parentheses. Oh, that was even better. Just do a bool answer. Oh, they use pointer. I used pointers earlier. Okay. You see that. second. We got a little bit more going on there. Just return the pointer. Okay, just return the pointer. Just return the pointer. We won't dereference. Why is it? No one said int compare. Why is it trying to? Oh. Duh. I gotta say what it's returning. It worked down here.
The function has to return a bool, not a void.
Oh, you're right. So now we come down here and we say compare loop by name. Now that's how we tell it how to sort. And now it's going alphabetically. Or we can make one that sorts by loop as well, or value. All it is change the name to value. And this should be increasing, which is not how I would list my loop. So I would probably change the sign for this one. I want to see my most valuable loot at the top. So maybe make that greater than here. Isn't that cool? So we've got a map of a list. Map that has players in it. And each player's like has inventory and they can have different inventory sizes. The inventory can grow and shrink as needed. We could always, if we wanted to, we could make this a virtual void display. And add in another like struct loop, inheriting, or not loop, like a weapon inherits off loop. And maybe we'll give it a int damage low, int damage high. Let's see. That's not what I want to do. I want to do weapon. No, it was an int value. String arg n, int arg v, int damage low, int damage high. Oh shit, how do we do this one? And we say damage low equals dam-L. Damage high, damage. Maybe we'll do loop.display. Get down here. They had a pretty good C out. No, that's not what I was thinking of. So here, that's actually a new weapon. And we'll say it does, I don't know, 45 to 75 damage. That's a weapon. It doesn't do as much damage, but it shoots faster. You get more shots in. Let's say it does 25 to 40. Mighty Scepter, is that a weapon? Are you thinking weapon with that? Sounds like a mace to me. We're gonna make it a weapon. And Staff of Wizardry is definitely a weapon. Although you probably wouldn't use it as a weapon. Probably use it to cast some spells. But we'll say we are. 22 to 36. Now, assuming I did this right, assuming this was right, I think we got some polymorphism going on with this bad boy too. Oh, I need to say damage, but it worked. Let's just go change this. That's fucking cool. So this was weapon. We could have one that does armor and how much armor, like how much armor damages it resist kind of thing. We could have one that's for gadgets and gadgets and stuff like that. Like, and maybe it says what it does. Like, magic gear is a subclass or is a descendant of loot, and so like it says cloak of invisibility, and then its display says makes the player invisible. You know, we could expand upon that. So not do weapon, but like magic gear. And maybe it's just a string with a gear description. So maybe we want to change this to go back to something like this. Traits. And throw in gear description right here. Maybe we do a new line on it. Do a /T/T. I think that's tab. That's what I should have done down here. Oh, let's give everybody first names or capital names. Oh, and we're adding in, what did I call it? Magic gear. So this is new gear. teleports group to within 350 miles. Bag of holding. Stores 1,000 pounds of loot of any size. And that needs to be magic gear also. You know what? I'm gonna copy. I don't know that the dragon should be gear. Maybe we'll call him something different. Quiver of Fate. Uh, as these arrows that split in midair. Cloak of Elven Kind. Allows the player to move without making any sound. Invisibility cloak. Makes the player invisible, duh. Row of the Arc Magi. Provides chainmail armor protection. And casts light. I think I got too many there. All right, yeah, good. And maybe Young Gold Dragon will go in his description. And now we got a bunch of shit going on. We've got weapon, magic gear. They're both based off loot. And now they say different things. Maybe on the weapon now, I'm thinking maybe I should have done multi-line like I did here. This has got too many, this is too much of an indent. But you guys see how it's going here, right? Looks kind of cool. We got maps, we got lists, we got polymorphism going on. And I replace that here, do this here. I like the way that looked. Now I'm just making it pretty. Right? We've been kind of building off everything we've been learning so far, right? It's not saying what it does. That's the key, Veronica. Doing it a piece at a time and changing it as you go. Start small. What did I start with? I just started off with making a single magic sword, making sure I could print a screen. Why is it not? It's not saying what the trait is. It's not working either. Who was I helping that we fix this on? Was it you, Kenny? Where we had two different things and we couldn't get the second thing to print the information? The sword's saying it. The sword says the weapon says the damage. Why is why does the weapon work?
The problem is in the constructor.
Really? Ah. You're right. It was. I had them backwards. That was a fail. There we go.
I was checking the code and that was the only thing I had different.
And we had it backwards. You see how easy it is to miss something simple like that? That's pretty cool. Now, if we wanted to, since Zeus is a pet, a creature, we could make it even another class that's based off a loot that's does have a pet off of loot. So like I think we've shown what we wanted to show tonight. We got a map with a list. We've got polymorphism going on, which was a bonus, which seemed easier to implement than what I thought it was going to be harder, but it ended up being not too bad. And the important thing is, no, we did it one at a time. We made one piece of loot, then we did a printout of it, Then we made a list of loot and we printed out the list. Then we did one player and made sure we could print out that player's loot list. Then we made a bunch of players, gave them all the same loot list, just to make sure that it was working, make sure we could run through different players with it. Once that worked, we gave each player their own list, confirmed everything was still working. Then we said, okay, let's go tinker it with it. We could just as well, if we wanted to, add a user interface where the players enter what loot they recently acquired on their outing, their adventure. And I don't know, seemed kind of a little bit of fun, but this is something that this was from the other day in class. It can dynamically grow. We can keep adding people. And we can keep acquiring more and more loot. And by putting polymorphism in, some of it is a weapon. Some of it, I don't know if this is going to show up well, the green. We'll use a circle for green, or green does magic items. We were able to do polymorphism, but we did it all one step at a time. And we just start off with something simple. Just make sure that we could print out a single piece of loot. Make sure our structure worked and go from there. So start slow, build up. It does help have someone look with you when you get stuck looking at it. Like Kenny found, I don't know how long it would have taken me to figure out that I had these two backwards. Because there was nothing wrong with what I had there. So it wasn't anything that the computer couldn't tell me that I broke the rules. I had RG equals gear description, but gear description had nothing in it. So it was just storing new shit in RG. That doesn't violate any of the rules. So it let me do it. Oh, it wasn't you? Must have been Caesar. Thanks, Caesar. I just assumed it was Kenny because I was talking to Kenny at that time. Good catch. So, any questions? If not, I'll let you go. Let's see what we got. I'll copy this and paste it into the announcements, just so y'all can see it. We'll get rid of all the crap we have down below. We don't need any of that crap. Have a good night. Oh, she had already gone. Let's get rid of some of the extra space. Alt Control C.
Professor, I have a question for lab 4C.
Okay, let me post this real quick and we'll look at it. So what do I want to do? I gotta do paste as plain text, highlight it all, and say change that to pre-formatted. That's what gives it the code-like look. All right, let me stop recording, stop sharing.